is the variety of life on Earth in all its form and its interactions. If that sounds bewilderingly broad, that is because it is. Biodiversity is the most complex feature of our planet and is the most vital. Without biodiversity, there is no future for humanity. From an aesthetic point of view, every one of the million species is unique, a natural work of art that cannot be recreated once lost.
Like a World Environment Day is absolutely essential, because it tells us, it is at least on that one day there's a dialogue around the environment and people start talking, saying, get a plan. I would think that World Environment Day just as itself is not enough. It needs to be a World Environment Month. You have Pride months for the LGBTQ community. You need to have an entire month where you celebrate, talk about, and there is an entire dialogue around the environment.
For many people living in towns and cities, wildlife is often something you watch on television, but the reality is that the air you breathe, the water you drink, and the food you eat all ultimately rely on biodiversity. Some examples are obvious. Without plants, there would be no oxygen. Without bees to pollinate, there would be no fruits or nuts. The Earth is currently experiencing a dramatic reduction in global biodiversity caused primarily by climate change and habitat destruction. A lot of species have disappeared in the past century. Most people do not appreciate the importance of protecting biodiversity now, but later they'll do. From the burning of fossil fuels and forest fires to dumping 19 billion pounds of plastic into the ocean every year, pollution completely disrupts the Earth's ecosystem. While it may not necessarily cause extinction, pollutants do have the potential to influence species' habitats. More than 99% of the species that existed someday are now extinct. Over the past 50 years, humans have changed the ecosystem more rapidly than ever before. 60% of the ecosystem are degraded and often overexploited, and the pressures on nature are increasing despite the growing number of responses to tackle the biodiversity loss.
If we'll not stop global warming now, so it's going to have a very bad effect on our future, and we have to suffer because of it. And I don't want to suffer, because it's our right to live in to have cleaner water, to live in a healthy environment, to have cleaner air, and it's our right. And they are just they are violating our rights.
Happiness is not what we find in a pair of new shoes or a fast car or a bigger house. Instead, real happiness lies somewhere else. It's in nature. Hundreds of studies have proved that spending time in nature can make us feel better, both in mind and body, in a way that nothing else can. The importance of biodiversity conservation increases public awareness of the issue. As public awareness increases, people become more involved in caring about the environment. It's our shared responsibility to take care of the ones who take care of all of us. We're on the verge of mass extinction and breakdown, but we can fix this only if we act now. Today, we don't realize what happens to our ecosystem will happen to us eventually. It's time to wake up. It's time we care for our future. It's time for nature.